Hi, everybody. Tim Hughes here. I'm the CEO of Digital Leadership Associates, also the author of Social Selling Techniques to Influence Buyers and Changemakers. I've actually got Twitter royalty with me today. I've got Samantha Kelly, who is the tweeting goddess on Twitter. So sometimes some people must call you the tweeting goddess, but where can people find you, Sam?
Hi, Tim. Thanks for having me, by the way. They can find me on tweetinggoddess.com.
And you're tweeting goddess on Twitter as well, aren't you?
Tweeting goddess, yeah. Actually, I go to events.
Are you Samantha Kelly or Sam Kelly on LinkedIn?
Yeah, you know what? No one even calls me that anymore. I'm just a tweeting goddess. Like, that's it. People just call me. If I'm at an event, they go, "Oh, tweeting goddess." Like, there was a minister at an event recently, and she was getting her photo taken, for the photo calls.
Yeah.
And then they were trying to get her on stage. They were like, "No, hang on, I have to get a picture with tweeting goddess." I was like, "What?"
So tell us a little bit about your story before we get started.
Well, my story started about 7 years ago. I was a lone parent on social welfare, and my dad had just passed away, and my daughter was at an awkward stage, that awkward milestone of her first period. So for anyone watching now, they're like, "What? Did she just say period?" But really, that's where my journey started, because I felt sorry for her. So I went to the shop and tried to find her some kind of beginner set for girls or whatever, because it's a bit of a taboo. And what happened was there was nothing in the supermarket. And I said, this is not right. I'm going to create this product, this gift box for young girls. And so that's where my journey started. It was there and then in the supermarket aisle, and I had no money. I had nothing. I had really bad bank records. So bank wasn't going to give me money, because when you're a lone parent, let's face it, you don't have money. So I just decided, I did a lot of research, and I created Funky Goddess, which was the first business, which was a gift box for girls. And I discovered Twitter. My sister put me on Twitter and said, "There you go and spread the word about your product." And I was like, I barely had a Facebook page, but I was very lonely in the evenings between 9 and 11 p.m. As a lot of people will know, that's when Twitter is actually most active. And luckily enough, that was actually when I was on it, because the kids had gone to bed and I was actually feeling a bit lonely, and I was sitting in my pajamas doing my research. And I just started using Twitter to reach other people in the same business that I could connect with. And I just discovered this whole new world, that I could reach a global audience. And then I started putting out blog posts. I started writing stuff about people's experience. It just turned out I was a natural when it came to marketing the product. And I ended up on TV. I ended up on the Women's Hour on BBC Radio 4. Like, I ended up on lots of media. So that's kind of what helped me to get to where I am today. But eventually I sold that business, and I went on Dragon's Den, the Irish version of Dragon's Den, and I didn't get the investment, even though on the TV I did, which sometimes happens with due diligence. But, my profile was big enough at that stage that Twitter just went mental when I was on the TV. And I could really see the power of Twitter converting into sales as well. And that was really where my skill was. It's all about people, Tim. Every single thing is all about people. And I realized that when I built a community of like-minded people around me, that was when the magic happened. And so I sold that business eventually, and I decided to change my Twitter handle from Funky Goddess to Tweeting Goddess.
Fantastic.
So that's where I started. Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about influence. And we're going to talk about how people can find influencers that actually have influence. What is fake influence? Because this was actually came about after a conversation we were having on Twitter, and looking at how people can say, right, we're going to run an influencer campaign. What do we need to do? And then look at and say, okay, what type of influencers do we need? And what are the things that we need to actually look at to say whether somebody has influence? Because we both have a subject that we mutually agree on, which is we know there's people out there that are deemed as influencers, but actually they have no influence.
Yeah.
And that's a concern for us, because then what happens is that influencer marketing gets a bad rap.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's such a shame, because look, it's the same in every business. I think, there's always going to be people that will, take shortcuts, and there is it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You really do have to build loyalty. You have to build sales. You have to build.
But Sam, there's a saying that we all have used, which is fake it till you make it.
Yeah, well, actually, I don't like that saying because, and I think that's why I am so successful is because I say it like it is,
Right.
and I say, look, I'm bloody broke here. I need help. So will you please spread the word about blah, 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 and people love that. It's like, oh, she's like me, maybe like, okay, she's big profile, but she's like me. She needs help too, and when you do that and you're authentic, I call it being real, and being normal and being human, it's all about, helping each other at the end of the day as well. And I don't like the fake it till you make it. And I don't do that. And I say it like it is. And I try and embrace people that I know are like me. And that's when magic happens too.
So if Sam Kelly was sitting in a marketing department of any company, and she'd been just given a job, right, we're going to do influencer marketing, where would you start?
Where I would start is I would ask my audience already that I have, who do you think are the biggest influencers in X? Twitter is great for that. Twitter loves when you ask questions. Like people on Twitter, they love if you say, oh, does anyone know who can change my lock on my doors? Does anyone know who's great at this or great at that? If you ask a question on Twitter people love to help. So they will spread the word and retweet the tweet. Like there was a guy, a journalist that lost his bag was stolen in a hotel there at the weekend. And he's had so much engagement because people really want to help him to get his stuff back. And he doesn't care about the computer or not. He cares, he does care about the computer with GDPR, of course, but he doesn't care. It's more the personal things that he has there that he wants back. So everyone retweeted that. So if you ask for help, ask for help. Ask your network. Look, who do you think is most influential in Ireland as regards female entrepreneurs? And most people will tag me. They'll tag other people as well. But at least you have a little list of who to go for. People love to also help their friends. So, of course, you'll get some there thrown in their friends. Oh, yeah, she's the best at this and he's the best at that. But it's the easiest way is to just ask people. And then what you do is once you get that list, you go and investigate. You go into their Twitter, you go into their Instagram, you go into their Snap, everything that they have.
This is interesting, which is you just don't take that list and then run with it. What you do is you look at people's social profiles. And that's the thing, is it?
Oh, yeah, because everyone's going to say their friends are the best.
Yeah.
Like you still need genuine recommendations. You need to investigate yourself. So go and investigate. See, okay, when they put up a tweet or a post, do they get engagement? I know many, many people who have lots of followers. Go into their followers and see who are these followers. Some of these followers, are they in your target demographic? Like, for example, are they small business owners? Are they CEOs? Are they women? Are they men? Whatever your target demographic is, go and see. Now, on Twitter in particular, the demographic is age 35 to 55. And the highest growing demographic are the over 55s. Which makes sense to me from what I see. And I also did a Twitter poll on this myself. And it's another great way to do research is to do a Twitter poll.
Oh, yeah.
Do a Twitter poll and ask your audience. I can't understand. A lot of companies don't ask their customers what they want. And it's such a simple thing to do. And you can do it in a fun way. You can ask them to send you a video reply saying who they think is the best because it gives them a bit of attention. And if you retweet that, that's going to make them feel really good, and they're going to help you the next time you ask a question. So it's all about looking after those.
And I think it's really important to go in and look at the followers. And it's also if one of the things quite often I think people do is they take on face value that someone's had a lot of retweets. But if you go in and look at the people that are retweeting, because the classic thing around fake influence is people buy retweets or people buy followers. And, I've gone in and looked at people, retweets of people. And I gave this as an example. They had 250 retweets. And of those 250 retweets, they had a maximum of 22 followers over the two. So there was people retweeting that didn't even have any followers.
Yeah, exactly. That's just madness. So definitely do your investigating there and see who are the people who are engaging with them. Are they actually talking to people? Or are they just putting up posts? Like look through. Have a look and see, okay, did that get retweeted and who did retweet it? Who is that person? Are they in my target market? Like when they put up a tweet, there should be a lot of engagement. They should be.
And are we looking for lots of followers Or are we? I mean, what's the? Is there a golden rule or a metric that we should be?
No, this is just my opinion, by the way. But I feel no, they don't have to have a lot of followers. Somebody could be really influential and have only 1,000 followers, but could have all the right people. Like my daughter, she's on Instagram and she does this powerlifting. And she's a diabetic, type 1. And she has so much engagement the minute she puts up a post, because she's inspiring other young females and she's inspiring the other people who are following her by what she's doing. So the minute she puts up a post, she gets a lot of likes, a lot of comments, and she only has 1,000 followers, but they're highly engaged followers. Because she's adding value, though. She's giving tips as she puts up her post. Like, if you want to get a lot of engagement, start talking to the people who are following you, And she would be influential. And now Diabetes Ireland, she's going to be a brand ambassador for them, because she actually has their target audience that they're trying to inspire are actually being inspired by my daughter, which is brilliant. So, if you start looking for someone, they don't have to have like thousands and thousands of followers, but they might just have the right people who are engaged with them.
So it's not necessarily followers, but it's about looking at to see they make it. But like your daughter, she's putting up inspiring posts. So are they putting up posts that resonate or is going to resonate with your audience? Like I work in the B2B space, and swearing isn't really a thing unless you're Gary V. That you should do. So you shouldn't be. Whereas I know other people that actually have done research. Brandwatch were doing some research for one of the for Vice TV, and actually one of the profiles was that they wanted swearing, because they actually found that the average Vice TV or the Vice magazine reader actually thought it was okay to swear on their profile. So it's two ends of the spectrum, but that gives you some view of, in terms of you need to think about the type of person that you would want to be your brand ambassador, and then go in and look at the followers, the engagement. Are they inspiring, and what about community, and what about audience?
Community is so important.
How would you describe community? Because you're actually a big community person, Sam.
Yeah, well, I created a community around me because I needed one. I couldn't do this alone. I needed people that didn't, I thought I was going mental sometimes at running a small business. I thought, oh my God, is this normal? This roller coaster. And you know what? I created a community of people around me who were also small business owners. And I discovered, actually, I'm not mad. This is actually normal, And so community is really important. And if a brand can create an engaged community.
And how do they do that? You said it's easy.
Yeah, well, it's easy just add value, right? If you're adding value and you're engaging with that community, let's say Mary in Tipperary really likes the article you just put up about how to become influential on Twitter. Mary says, do you know what? That's really good. That's a really interesting post. I really like that tip. Well, go back to Mary and say, thanks, Mary. Is there any way I can help you? Do let me know. Go back to these people, engage with your customers, and that will create a community. Then you say, look, if anyone wants really good tips around content planning, for example, we've created a Facebook group, a private Facebook group, join the community, and let's give each other tips and share each other's tips, share each other's achievements, share each other's, start creating projects for them to do. Like in my Women's Inspire network, sometimes I'll say, look, I want you all to do a Twitter video today. And we'll get them to all do a Twitter or a selfie, to use a certain hashtag, so that we can all encourage each other to get comfortable on camera. So there's all different ways you can help a community. For example, I used to run an accounting software Twitter account. They were doing a campaign to win a competition, right? And what I did was I went to all the people and I said, look, well, what are you putting out? What content? They were putting out, accounting software. I was like, well, okay, who are your customers? And their customers were small business owners. I said, and what do small business owners want to learn? We want to learn how to be better business owners. We want to learn how to make more money. We want to learn how to be successful. So I suggested we did how to do a business plan, how to reach decision makers, things like that. And that really took off for them. And so then I said, okay, who are your biggest brand ambassadors and your biggest brand advocates? Accountants are. I said, okay, let's invite them and do a little event. Events can be really, really simple. You just do a 2-hour tea and coffee event, something like that. You don't have to spend a fortune on events. All you want to do is invite them, give value, get a speaker, someone like me or like Tim, get a speaker that's going to add value that they want to see. So if they want to learn about how to build relationships with their customers, they get me or Tim in and we do a presentation. People will come to that. And then what you're doing is you're getting a community of accountants in the same room who can talk to each other, give tips to each other, but also you're looking after them, you're giving them value.
And the important thing is to make sure that you're running so a networking group is in effect a community. And what you're doing is that you're taking that and putting that online.
Yeah, you can do both. You can take them offline, I think create the community online and then say, guys, would you like to have a meetup and have a cup of coffee? And just have a coffee and sit down with them and exchange ideas. And that's a community. Because if you keep adding value to that community, they're going to tell everyone how great you are.
And they'll just bring more people to that. The problem with the networking event is there's only so many people you can get in the room. Whereas with the community online, you can just keep adding more and more people. And what we found when we started our company, and I know that you've done this, is that you grow at scale and you grow globally. Yeah. So all of a sudden you'll get somebody and go, oh, where are you from? They go, Brisbane. What, in Australia?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, my friend Michael, who's the accountant in Hemel Hempstead, said I should attend. He said he was going, and then all of a sudden, Venezuela and the whole thing just scales up.
Oh, look, I had Alicia Whelan. She's from Canada and she was coming to Dublin. She joined the Women's Inspire Network. She was coming to Dublin. She said, Sam, I'm coming to Dublin on such and such a date. I would love to meet you for coffee. And I said, well, you're coming. I'm actually in Dublin that day because I live in Wexford. And I said, well, where are you staying in Dublin? And she was staying in a place miles away from the airport. I said, why don't you cancel that and just come home to my place? So I brought a stranger, met her. We came down to Wexford and the hotel here where I live was delighted because she actually booked in there, right? So she stayed in Wexford instead of starting her trip in Dublin. She started her trip here and then she carried on and went all around Ireland. So that's from Twitter. That's from online relationship building. And we got so much value from exchanging ideas and stuff because she had done what I'd done years ago and we were able to help each other. And now I know someone in Canada that if I want to go to Canada, guess who I could ring and say, do you want to pick me up from the airport? So it's all about building relationships globally.
So we've worked out who we want to actually be our influencers. We've checked them out online. What gotchas should we be looking for? So how do we spot this thing called fake influence and what are the things that we need to be looking at to make sure that the people that we think have got influence have actually got that?
Well, definitely I would look to see, are they engaging with their audience and adding value? Have a look at the followers that are following them. Like, are they chatting to people? Like, are people replying to their tweets? Yeah, are they chatting and engaging with people? Because if you look at someone's profile, you might see they're just putting up posts. Are they actually replying to some of the people who engage with them? That is really important. You can also ask these people to send their analytics. Twitter Analytics is a great free tool that you can use and ask them, hi, interested in knowing your reach and who you're talking to. Reach out and ask them, wonder, would you be able to send me your Twitter Analytics? Ask them for the data. Data doesn't lie as well, and you can see how many people are actually retweeting the tweets. And then you can actually go in and see, okay, who were the people that retweeted that tweet? Sorry about the noise.
Is your dog okay?
It's not, it's a dog. Do you know what? It's funny when you work from home, and anyone that's watching this will probably identify with me. When you tell everyone I'm doing a call, and then they just come in and they just open the door. It's funny. But, it's, no, the dogs are fine. I have 3 dogs. They're crazy. Right. But, yeah, it's definitely about checking who are they actually engaging with their audience. I mean, and
that conversation. I mean, we're talking here today because we had a conversation online on Twitter. And anybody who knows me can contact me on Twitter, and I sit there. It's usually about 8, 9 o'clock UK time at night, and I will basically go through all of my Twitter. I can't guarantee that I do it all, but I will pick up anybody that conversations. That's from people that may not agree with me right through to people that do agree with me. But I think it's so important that I've seen people that have been posting and all they do is post. And I think that's what social media is about. And in fact, they have no audience because all they're doing is posting, and then there's no engagement.
Absolutely. And do you know a really good test? Tweet to them.
Yes.
And say, hi, really interested. I was wondering, can I get your email to send you an email or whatever it is, and see how long it takes to get back. I know for me, I will get back within 6 hours.
Yes.
That's actually a long time. I'll actually get it back within, you know yourself, the two of us always get back really fast to each other, you know, but if so, that's the real test. Engage with them, send them a message and see how long it takes them to get back. You want
I get people coming to me over email about social, and it always amazes me that they've not connected to me over social to in a way to test me, either over LinkedIn or over Twitter, to say, we'd like you to be an influencer on social, but they send me an email.
Okay, yeah. I think the best way is to reach out and start engaging with that person first and see how much engagement they actually give you. Because if they're not giving you engagement, then they're not going to give their customers or your potential customers engagement.
And it's so easy for people just to post and then to and then basically be talking to themselves.
Yes, absolutely. And you know what? Another little tip. I had I did a social media event a few years ago, right? And we had a Skype call like this with a guy that works in Twitter, and I was so excited. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm going to talk to the mothership! Yay!" And I was so excited, right? And I was talking to him, and he goes, "Oh yeah, sure, I know all about you." And I was like, "Oh right." And he goes, "Yeah, my dad loves you. My dad follows you on Twitter." And I was like, "What?" I was like, "Who's your dad?" Like, and his dad was a guy who had 300 followers, right? He lived in Cork, in south of Dublin, didn't have interests that were interesting to me, but I was following him. So I said, gosh, I must have engaged with that man at one stage. Otherwise, I wouldn't have followed him, or he must have said something that resonated with me. So I was looking, I was like, oh, that's mad. And he goes, oh, yeah, he's always saying, oh, you should look at Tweeting Goddess. She's doing this and she's great. And I was like, you just do not know who is watching.
My mum's gardener follows me.
It's so funny. But
whenever I meet him, he'll go, he said, I saw that post the other day. I don't really, because he's retired, and he says, I don't really understand what it means, but he says, it looks like it's good stuff. But he follows me, yeah.
It's so funny. And you see, these people, if they like you, they will tell others about you. But I didn't know that this man's son worked in Twitter.
No.
I mean, I didn't know that. But so just be aware of that.
One of the things that you talked about previously was about sharing, amplifying, and sharing people's material. So not just posting things out like a Gatling gun, but actually looking for going to other people's Twitter. That's interesting. I'll retweet that, and actually sharing that out and amplifying people. You when we talked before this, you said that was something that was really useful and helpful.
It's actually essential, right? That if you look after other people and share their content, I don't know why there's an echo coming back. Sorry about that. I don't know what's happening there. But if you share other people's content, trust me, they'll remember that and they'll get a notification when you tag them. So even the biggest person in the world, trust me, they know, they go through their notifications. If they're like me, they're sitting there and they're going through their notifications about 9:30 at night and seeing, okay, who's engaged me? Oh, they retweeted my tweet. That's nice. Who is she? Let me have a look at her. You know, people are watching. People are watching all the time. So if you share their content, you're actually helping them. You're helping your followers, and you're also helping yourself because you're sharing other people's content and it makes you look really helpful as well. Definitely tag the person and give them credit. A great new tool, I'm actually a brand ambassador for Feed Alpha. You can actually go and search for content relevant to your audience. And it's a really good way to find content and then tag those people in that as well. So definitely, I find that if I like something and if I like someone, what they're doing, it might not even be anything to do with business. It could be to do with chocolate. People know I love chocolate. People know I love tea. You know, it could be something to do with, I'm trying to get a bit fit and I'm getting married in November. So I'm trying to kind of, you know, lose a few pounds. So there's different ways that actually I would retweet them because I want to help them out as well. One thing I love to do is surprise and delight my audience. And if I surprise and delight my audience, a lovely way to do that is to find someone who's just started on Twitter and retweet them to 45,000 people. You should see the reaction. It's lovely. And all I've done is click a retweet, you know? Yeah.
Sam, we're just coming up to 25 minutes. It goes really quickly. Thank you so much. Remind everybody where they can get hold of you as well. You know, your Twitter, your Tweeting Goddess, your Samantha Kelly on LinkedIn.
I'm Tweeting Goddess as well, everywhere else as well. So just have a look, Snapchat, Instagram. I don't really use Snapchat much. I only use Snapchat when I do Snapchat story if I'm traveling somewhere, away to an event or something. But definitely the Women's Inspire Network as well. If there are any women watching, the women'sinspirenetwork.com is really, really good. And we do weekly webinars and stuff, and we add value. So
fantastic.
Yeah, cool.
Thanks, Sam. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having me. Thanks.
See you soon.